Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Better Than Radio. This is episode 2 of Overwatch Weekly. Yeah, we're back with Connor.
Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Connor, aka Sea Dog, aka lagging out my bad.
So, yeah, one of the things that I was interested in talking about this week specifically is if we were to just jump right into it. Me asking you, Connor, like, what do you think is the worst part of Overwatch right now? What is an issue that needs to be addressed?
Hmm, that's interesting. I'm not sure actually. I want to say the community, but I can't really. I don't know. I feel bad for saying that. Um, because I think most of the characters are balanced, except for as we talked about last week, like Symmetra, Widowmaker, because they're just like bad. Um, I'm not sure. What do you think?
So something I was interested in is probably I think the aspect of teamwork needs to be more addressed. I don't think that's something that the devs can address in any way. It's really just a player kind of thing. But something that is really interesting to me is last week I talked about how I think the community is kind of they're all pretty rude to each other, which the unfortunate part of that is, when you're on a team with five other players and your team is ragging on you and you're like, "Oh, you're hurting my feelings," and we're like, you're the one that I'm supposed to be fighting with if we're gonna win this game in any way. And
Yeah.
probably the biggest issue with that is people that think they can just carry games, and the significance with Overwatch is, if you play Counter Strike, which is, I would say, is the most competitive first person shooter out there. It's 5v5 and you're all working together to attack or defend a certain point and defeat the other team, but you're all equipped with the same exact set of items. There's no specific roles. If you have someone that's good at opping, you're gonna op. If you have someone that's good at SMGs, you're gonna use those, but you're not designated to those. In fact, you can switch guns throughout the actual game. Whereas in Overwatch, you can switch your heroes, but the roles are significant. So last week we talked about the meta where it's a 2-2-2, two attack, two tanks, and two supports. Now we're talking really specific heroes, and your carries, if you will, your two damage people, the ones that are supposed to, if you're McCree, you want to get at least a double with your role. You want the really effective offensive ults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your carries, you can't have this mindset that you need to carry this game when each team is equipped with 12 abilities, 6 ultimates, and then their own specific move sets for their actual just guns. I think that's something significant.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, I was watching Steel once again. He's a very informative guy, salty as he is, and he played a lot of Overwatch, and he's on Splice currently for Overwatch, and he pointed out something that I thought was really interesting, something that I thought was good about Overwatch, but he kind of gave me a new perspective on it. He said that in Counter-Strike, the beauty, but also the kind of the bad thing, but also the beauty of it, is that in Counter-Strike, one person can really carry a team. Like, if you have someone like, let's say, Guardian on Navi, if the team is kind of falling apart, Guardian can be that guy who can, win those 1v4s and do the crazy things to carry his team. Whereas in Overwatch, the thing that is great, but also sucks on the flip side, is it doesn't matter how good you are doing to a certain extent. Obviously it helps if you're, kicking ass and everything, but you can't really carry your whole team like you can in Counter-Strike. And I thought that was pretty interesting, that he pointed out that that's a good thing, but also a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that in Overwatch I've been playing a lot of Junkrat lately, and I like to think I'm a pretty good Junkrat. He's who I've been maining lately. I have over 100 hours in Overwatch, so I'm not just trying to say that I picked it up and started playing, but I think I'm doing all right as Junkrat. So I'm comfortable playing him on defense, or if it's a King of the Hill map, I'll play him. Or if it's norms, typically I'll try him on offense, and it works sometimes. It works against bastions because you can hit him at those off angles. But that set aside, it's important for me to know that no matter how good I think I am at Junkrat, I can't just auto lock it and expect to carry this team, because if the team doesn't cooperate, if they don't pick a damage, 2 tanks and 2 supports, now we're running with 3 damage, and one of them's not even, if I'm playing offensive Junkrat, one of them's not even meant to do that role.
Yeah, that's true.
And I thought it was interesting that, just how important it is to work as a team, and how bad the player base is at doing that.
Yeah, definitely. You get that Hanzo lock, and it's like, okay, well, or maybe Genji, and it's like, well, okay, maybe, but we'll see, And usually it's, all right, well, they got a kill, and now they're yelling at us like, come on, guys, like, you didn't even capitalize on that kill. And it's like, well, what do you want us to do? You ran in, got 1 kill, and then died. It's basically an even fight now. Like, yeah. I think that is one problem, is that there isn't that carry potential. Because even if you look at, like, regular sports ball, like, in basketball, you got like Kobe Bryant can carry his team to victory, or could carry his team to victory. LeBron James can still currently carry his team to victory, stuff like that. So I don't know. The only problem with trying to implement something like that is then you have characters that are, way too powerful, because it's not just like one skill set against another like Counter-Strike. It's just rifle v rifle, that type of thing.
Yeah, and then something that I think, aside from trying to take the carry aspect out of the picture, trying to, let's say the whole team is working together now, it's important to realize that even if you're cooperating well, communication's a big part of it. For example, I was playing a game on the new, I can never remember the name of the new map, the castle map. Do you know what it's called? Because I don't.
Eckenwald.
Yeah, Eichenwald, I think it's German.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we're playing on that map, and it's coming down to the wire. We're playing defense, and we're going to lose. It's pretty imminent. We have 4 minutes left. We're, like, on the last turn before the straightaway to the end. We're right there.
Uh-huh.
And so it's, my team versus their team. I think I was playing McCree. I was, actually. And we had a Zarya on our team as one of our tanks. Tier 1, good meta tank. Or I think she's tier 2, actually. But anyway, so, she's a good tank. You want her on your team. Then we have a Zenyatta, also tier 1 support. We have him on our team. Awesome. We have a good team comp. It's working out. But so the enemy Genji's doing work on us. He's doing a number. And so he's had his ult several times. But this time in particular, it's really important that we don't die to his ult, because we're on not the last push, but we're on our last foot. And if they get enough of a foothold on us, we're just going to lose the game. And so we hear the enemy Genji ult. And so in response to that, we have our Zenyatta pop his ult, which works. It'll stop us from dying. But at the same time, we have our Zarya pop her ult to pull him away from us, which works. You know what I mean? Both of these ultimates saved our lives, but the fact that both of them
got popped at once.
Yeah, and so then once the Genji died, inevitably he died. It's a 6v1. He was diving us so that he could get a pick for their team. Inevitably, when the Genji died, we're down 2 ultimates. They still have 5 players with all their potential ultimates. And those are 2 of our defensive ultimates. Those are ones that really put, deposition team or keep your team alive in the midst of another one. And so we got swept after that. And that's due to the poor communication. It was a norms game, so, I can't really... No, that might have been a ranked game. I can't even remember. But my point is if our team had better communication and a little more coordinated, ultimates, we would have had a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something. Or go for it.
Another thing about the teamwork is like, I really love the amount of teamwork that Overwatch is promoting. However, everybody needs a mic or needs to be able to communicate in some way, and it just sucks when you get in those competitive games that someone doesn't have headphones and like they don't have a mic, they're not even typing, and it just it sucks to be on that team. It's like, well, all right, guess hope they do well, and then and that's about all you can do.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I'm 100% supporter of not using your mic in the sense that I don't typically. In ranked, I listen for callouts, in ranked I use my mic quite often, especially if I'm getting really into the game. But I don't use it 24/7, and in norms I actually don't use it at all. I'm never in team chat in norms. But I think that they need, if possible, an updated chat system like the hotkeys. For example, Counter-Strike is a really good site, saying follow me, back off, things like that. Just simple commands that acknowledge what you want. If, for example, if someone doesn't have a mic or if someone's playing when they can't talk. I think that would be a really cool addition to the game, is having a more intricate voice line base.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would really help for those people who, I don't know, maybe don't want to type, don't have a mic.
It'd be kind of cool too, like if everyone had their own specific voice line. So if McCree is saying specific ways to say back off, that'd be kind of cool. It's a little aesthetic to the game.
Yeah, I mean, you do have like your I need healing, group up, stuff like that, but and then your ultimate charge. But I feel like they could implement a few more voice commands, which would be really helpful. Like, get on the payload. If someone's not getting the message, spam get on the payload or contest the point. Stuff like that. I think that would be cool.
So yeah, I would say that's the biggest issue with Overwatch I have right now. Another one is the brawl, the weekly brawl is something that I was interested in talking about, and it's cool, the people that enjoy brawl. I'm sure you play it frequently. I mean, I've never been a fan of super casual formats. I'm more of a competitive player, so I'll play comp is probably my favorite because the rule base is a little more strict and it's a little more it's more competitive than norms. Or I'll play norms because it's actually still kind of competitive until you get into the games where recently I've been playing with Ray a lot, and we go double May in norms because I am a main. I have over 24 hours on her, and then she really enjoys May and just got one of the skins for her. Which one? The cherry blossom one, I think.
Oh, nice.
So so we're both interested in playing it, and it's typically you can win if you just have two Mays because she's dumb, and now there's two of her.
Yep.
And yeah, but then it comes to brawl. I don't even look at the brawl every week.
Yeah. Oh, same.
It's
actually I contrary to what you may think, I do not play the brawl at all.
Yeah, it's not on my priority list. I don't just start a game of Overwatch and say I'm gonna play brawl. And then there was the horrible time of Rio 2016 where it was Lucio Ball for 3 weeks, and you're like. Like I
thought it was gonna be so cool. It was not cool.
I think
I was like, wow, it's Rocket League, but Lucio, hell yeah, I'm all about that. And no.
And I play the brawls in Hearthstone every week, but because there's a reward involved, and I think that if they were to give a loot box, something that simple for playing the brawl and winning, then that would be a good reward, and that encourages players to play it. You're rewarded for playing it until you win. And sometimes you get lucky and you'll win first try. Sometimes you get 2 cards brawl and you play against a mech warper and the saber-toothed cat and you'd lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was a good one.
They did that recently in Hearthstone, actually, where they made it 3 cards instead of 2.
Oh, so it's still just as bad?
It was just as bad, if not worse. Took
them one more day to figure it out?
One of the big ones was Mill Druid. So you use Innervate, Cold Light Oracle, and Naturalize. And if you go off, you just draw all your Innervates, draw all your Cold Light Oracles, and make them draw their whole deck. And then for removal, you have Naturalize, which makes them draw their whole deck.
Oh, gross.
Another one that was fun was Yogg Saron, Innervate, and another spell that I can't remember. But anyways, enough about Hearthstone. I think that's a big thing in Overwatch that would really be rewarding in a literal sense, and just make the brawls a little more fun to play, is if you knew you were going to get a loot crate from it.
Mm-hmm. I also think that, I still stand by, I think that quests would be super cool, and I would encourage people to play Brawl. You can listen to our previous podcast to hear me rant about quests.
And, this is going to be a shorter podcast, definitely, but there's a topic that I wanted to talk about more in depth, and I'll bring it up right now in this one, and then I'll have some actual, some diagrams for the next one as my goal. I'll draw it out. But I've had this idea of, like the pie chart of dominance. I don't have a good name for it. Maybe in the next week I'll have an actual name for it.
A pie chart of dominance. Okay.
And so, next week I'll go more in depth. But for right now, I'll just give you a basic overview of it. And it's, you in Counter-Strike, you have a pie. And there's 10 slices, 5 for each team. And then in Overwatch, there's 12 slices, 6 for each team. And each slice represents a player. And each player, I'll go more in depth the next one, but, essentially, teams want to remove slices from the other player's side of the pie and take over it. And it's significantly more advantageous in the sense in Counter-Strike, kills are permadeath until the next round. Whereas in Overwatch, you get a 10-second death timer, which is still significant. So the pie is more manipulated in Overwatch than it is in Counter-Strike. And I'll show you the charts ahead of time next episode, and I'll actually put them on the screen for next episode. I didn't really have time this week to draw them, but that's something that I am interested in talking about, and figured I'd bring it up right now as a little teaser for the next one.
Oh, right on. I like it.
My favorite part about this right now too is you don't even know what I'm talking about, let alone everyone else. But I got the ideologies of it.
Yeah, I feel it.
Another thing I wanted to mention is, sorry for Connor's microphone last episode. It looks like it's holding up this one. Last one it was really choppy. So yeah, to wrap things up and, another 5 or 10 minutes of content, I'm thinking we do, our Nerf Plus and Buff Plus section again, which we've already...
Oh, okay.
I want to do that at the end of every episode, and even just minor tweaks is a thing that we can talk about. So who do you think, or we'll do it again. Which one do you want to do, the Nerf or the Buff first?
Let's do Nerf first.
All right, so who do you think deserves a Nerf? Who is too good for their own cause? May is excluded unless something happened to her recently, which... it didn't. There's no update.
I think that, honestly, I think that something that needs to get nerfed is the melee.
Just melee in general on everyone?
I think melee is so strong. Like, you do a lot of damage when you melee. And, I mean, okay, if you can get that up close to somebody, maybe you deserve the damage. I don't know, but... Personally, I think it's just too strong. Like, you can just punch someone to death if you just LOS them. Like, that's not cool. I don't know. It seems really freaking strong to me.
I can see that, but, on the contrary, if you're close enough to melee someone, I've had a lot of instances. I'm not huge on getting the melee kills. That's not what I think about typically. But I'd say 8 out of 10 times the Tracer kills me with just the melee.
Unless the clip melee, and it's like, oh, alright, I'm dead.
But, I think players that are consistent enough to get that is really... Do you even know how much damage the melee does? Because I don't.
I do not know how much damage it does.
How much?
I probably should know that before I start saying it needs to get nerfed, but...
How much damage does a melee do in Overwatch is the highest? How much damage does an M? That's the... Okay, let's see. Oh, it's not even getting specific. Oh, wait, here we go. All heroes do 30 damage, and then, it scales up with heroes such as Genji, Reinhardt, and Winston when they're ulting. Or not really.
Yeah.
Well, it scales up, exponentially with other heroes that have actual specific melee weapons. But, it's 30 for the base hero damage, which I think might be fair.
It's 30 damage of melee?
Yeah, except for Torbjorn, apparently he does 75 with his hammer. I think that's funny.
I need to nerf the hammer melee. Just the hammer melee.
Reinhardt does 75 as well, but considering that's his only offensive potential, I think that's kind of fair.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
I mean, he has his E as well and his shift, but both of them are kind of depositioning. Your E is forcing you to put your shield down for your team, and your shift is actually just killing yourself if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's true.
so I think the 75 for the Reinhardt hammer is fine, but I never realized it's 75 for Torbjorn's hammer. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot. And I don't know. I feel like 30 damage is a lot. So like, okay, let's just say like Lucio, 200 health, right? I feel like that's a significant chunk of health that you just like punch away.
I think 30 is fair, honestly, and you have your like your cockback time to do another, or I guess your cooldown time on your melee is what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna melee someone to death, you are standing next to them for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's more of like a last hit mechanic is what you really go for. Maybe 30 is too much. Maybe a nerf to 25 is enough, and then Symmetra's shield is actually just perfect. That's essentially a Symmetra buff.
See, and now, yeah, there you go. And now Symmetra is totally useless. Besides her teleport.
She stops you from dying to a melee, which
there you go.
right now she doesn't. Yeah, I guess that's something that could be addressed. I never thought of that, but yeah.
I mean, melee is really strong.
Something that I think needs to get nerfed definitely is, or not definitely, but I think would be fair is just Reaper's Death Blossom, honestly.
Really?
I mean, I think as a mechanic for him, it slows his movement speed. You go into third-person point of view. It looks nice. It feels nice because, you're not sprinting around, spinning in a circle. You're walking now. You go really slow. And you can still die and get disrupted like McCree's ult. But the amount of shred that it has on heroes in all directions, like there's no skill to it. At least with Hanzo's you have to aim in a direction. With Reaper you just have to sit yourself in the middle of a team, which is possible with both of his abilities, his shift and his E. The amount of shred and how fast it happens to offensive and defensive heroes is insane.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you're not a tank, and if you're not a tank and you don't have another ultimate or a Zarya to answer it, the defensive and offensive heroes are going to die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is really strong. I didn't know if it really needed a nerf, but the way you put it, it's pretty... I can see that.
It probably doesn't need a nerf. It's probably fine, and,
and you're just butthurt about it? I mean, died to it too many times?
It's one of the things where, every time it's played the game, it's made fun of. It's complained about. We have a friend named Mark, and he, constantly complains that that's a no-skill ult, and it's not a skilled ult. I'd say, I can't even think of the ult that requires the most skill, but that's definitely not it. It's definitely a no-skill ult.
That is true.
And the fact that he does benefit from killing everyone too. He's kind of a win more hero in the sense that every kill he gets 25 health back. So
yeah,
like I recently played a game, I'd say maybe a week ago, where I had a Reaper get a pentakill, which was insane. Or I think it was a hexakill. I'm actually positive it was a hexakill.
Jeez.
No, it wasn't all with the ult. It was a quadra with the ults and then 2 kills after. But
wow.
And the 2 kills
but
after,
still.
one of the kills after was a Roadhog, which makes sense because you can't just shred a Roadhog that fast.
Yeah, that's true.
But of course, Reaper being the counter to Roadhog did immediately after the ult, and it was really silly.
Another thing about Reaper that is pretty nuts is the fact that he can pick up health packs while he's in Wraith form.
That's something I was thinking too.
I think that he should be able to pick up his like little death orbs, while he's in Wraith form, because like that's special to Reaper, and so is his Wraith form, and I think that is fair. but I think being able to be invincible and pick up his own health or death orb things, plus the health packs, like that's kind of nuts, and I don't know about that.
Yeah, because especially in a fight, when you're having a 1v1 with someone, you both are aware of the health pack that's near both of you. When he goes into Wraith form and becomes non-collision, he can actually, and enhance movement speed, he can actually just go through you and get the health pack first, which I think is pretty dumb. I can agree with that as a nerf for Reaper. I don't know, maybe that'll fix his Death Blossom. I know it doesn't, but maybe that nerf will be sufficient enough to make him a little more balanced.
Yeah, I think that won't fix anything, but I think that's like a good nerf.
Well, it's definitely a nerf. I don't think it'll significantly make everyone else, or it's a buff to everyone, I guess, essentially, if you're playing against a Reaper. I think that's a fair nerf, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, as long as he can pick up his own orbs, which makes sense, because since it's significant to you, and as long as you don't pick up health packs while you're wraithing, because you're already invincible and enhanced movement speed. And
yeah, exactly.
And if you pick up a large health pack, you heal to full. It's a 250 health pack.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. And you're already invincible.
And you're already invincible. Yeah, definitely. So I think Reaper took the hit from us this week as we ragged on May last week. And for the buff plus, what you got? Who do you think is a little underpowered and could use a little bit of oomph right now?
This is tough because I want to say Mercy, because I want Pharah to see more play because I like playing Pharah so selfishly, but her healing is already really strong, and I don't know if it really needs any kind of buff. It's just sad. It's just sad. That is all.
Yeah, honestly, I think Mercy's kind of balanced right now, which is the sad thing, because her damage boost makes sense. Her healing is pretty significant. It's single target, which is how she's supposed to be, and she heals fast. It's not slow, definitely.
Oh yeah, she heals super fast.
Her res does exactly what it should be doing, and she has a 2-second cooldown on her shift, which is really fast. And she has a pistol that does way too much damage. I feel like anyone that has a secondary...
Yeah, it does do a lot of damage.
Anyone that has a secondary pistol, like D.Va, her pistol does a lot of damage too, actually.
Yeah, it really does. He was right.
I was in a game... I keep saying I was in a game recently. These are just moments I remember as I play a lot of Overwatch, where I was playing D.Va and having just a pistol war with a Mercy, and we were both in this awkward, she can't fly to anyone, and I don't have my mech, so we're like, alright, we're duking it out right here. And, it's intense when every shot's doing 20, 30, 40 or so. Well, some odd damage where it's pretty significant amount of health, and the fire rate's really high.
Yeah, the fire rate is super high.
Yeah, so we were just shredding each other. I want to say I lost that fight to a Mercy, which makes sense.
Yeah,
I do think that maybe a little extra range on her ultimates would be make her a little more significant.
Yeah, maybe.
But that might even break her because, as we saw with Zenyatta, he was too bad to be played and got buffed to the point where he was too good to be played, and then he got a couple nerfs in a row because he was too good.
Yeah.
And so here we are with the current Zenyatta, who's doing well. He's tier 1 meta.
Oh yeah.
But I would like to see some heroes get moved around so they can be played in tier 1 meta, especially when there's no, in League of Legends, there's an item system where you purchase items in game, and those indirectly buff heroes. Something that would bump up a lot of heroes is something as simple as buffing Mercy's res range, which might have her be played more, which buffs Pharah, so Pharah's played more. That, bumps a support and a damage to a higher tier of play.
That is true. Yeah. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I went all in on Pharah pretty recently and bought, or not, it was a few weeks ago, before the first episode. I bought a cool legendary skin for her, bought a cool emo, bought a cool play the game screen, and went all in, played a lot of Pharah because she was tier 1. This might have been before season 2 started. I think this was the in between. After season 1, before season 2, before she started seeing no play.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Like no real competitive play.
Yeah,
at least.
Because at the end of season 1, it was crazy just how much play she saw. She was every protein, offense and defense, had a Pharah.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
Season 2, they're not very common, honestly.
Yeah, no, she's not played very much at all. Which is sad, because I think she's a really cool champ. With a lot of carry potential, and a really cool kit.
Much agreed. For my buff list, I was thinking Soldier 76.
Okay.
This might just be for the fact that I am a god-awful Soldier 76, and every time I play him, I perform very badly, so I think he needs a buff because I play him too badly. Then I watch Ray play him, and she gets, a triple, quadruple kill. She gets the cute spray. Maybe I'm just jealous that she has the cute spray and I don't. That might be the real issue. That sounds more
likely.
But the thing that I think needs a buff for him is when you ult, yes, you get auto aim. Yes, it's auto headshots, which is cool. You're not missing. You can shred someone as long as they're in your line of sight long enough. But I think his ammo clip is too small. His ammo clip when you ult needs a buff.
It needs what?
It needs a buff. You need an extended mag, like 20, 30 rounds, 25 rounds.
Oh yeah, that would be a cool idea. I like that.
Like Torbjorn, him and his turret get like a 300 health buff and shred in damage. And I want to say he gets extended mag. I know the fire. I don't even know if that's true. That might not be true actually. I don't play Torbjorn at all. But he gets a significant buff when he ultimates, and it's a channeled ult. And so Soldier 76 having a channeled ult, he just gets probably enhanced damage. I'll Google it right now. We have computers. But he has enhanced damage, I presume, and auto aim, which is really cool. But I think that if he had an extended mag, that would be pretty significant.
Yeah, I think that would be a really cool addition, because even though the reload speed is increased a little bit, but I would like to see that extended mag.
Yeah, when I first started playing him, really early into the game, I used to think that you just had infinite ammo, which would probably be too good for having auto aim for 6 seconds. But I think even if you took a second off of that and gave him infinite ammo, then you just run batshit crazy and just run at the other team. Like we saw with Diva's ult, you take 1 second off the detonating time, and the kill potential for her ult went exponentially higher. And I mean, a huge buff for her too is her ult doesn't kill her anymore. Now that I think about it, Diva got buffed out the wazoo and made her extremely playable. She used to be one of the least significant tanks in the sense that her E was not very good. Her old deflector shield. Her ultimate took too long and everyone could escape from it, and it killed her. Now... Yeah,
that was the worst part. It would just kill her too.
Now you take 0 damage from it. You don't even get knocked back from it. It detonates a second faster. And her shift is debatably made her the most broken tank in the game.
Her shift or her right click?
Her right click, not her shift. Yes, her right click.
Her shift is good, but yeah, her right click is nuts. Yes.
I did mean right click. But yeah, I think that just even a simple buff like that, if you take a second off of Soldier's... Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't even get a damage boost. It's just the auto aim.
Yeah, it's just the auto aim. Well, I mean, auto headshot is like a...
I guess essentially it is a damage boost because now you're not missing those headshots, but I still think, if you take a second off, give him a little extra damage and a little extended mag, he's a really playable offensive hero now.
Yeah, I think so too. I like it.
Because the kill potential was raised a lot. Or something even really small that, keep his ult exactly the same, but now his Helix rockets are like heat seeking.
Oh yeah, that'd be neat.
Chris used to think that that was the case, but Ray had confirmed very aggressively that it is not. That is not the case.
It doesn't surprise me that she confirmed aggressively.
I brought it up really casually. We were talking to Jared, I think, and Jared mentioned it really casually, and she was like, "It is not. That does not happen." I was like, "Oh, okay." It doesn't
Didn't know you're so passionate about this. Okay.
That is her favorite hero. I think Diva is, but she plays the best as Soldier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that sort of wraps up this episode. It went about as long as I want the actual episodes to go. The first one was exceptionally long.
Yeah, the first one was really long.
But I think 35 minutes is about the time. I have the hiccups. It's horrible. I think 35 minutes is about what we're shooting for, and that's about what we got.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sounds like a decent time to me.
Tune in next week to understand anything that I meant when I was talking about the pie chart. This episode should be uploaded on this episode should be uploaded on September 26th. Not to date this video, but I also made a new account, which you'll see the latest podcast, or the most recent one besides this one, up on. We had some technical issues with the last account, so now here we are with the new account. It was re-uploaded today on the 25th. So
Heyo.
Overwatch Weekly is now 2 days in consecutive upload. But anyways, it's been real.
It's been fun.
And it's been real fun. Tune in next week.
Oh yeah.
We'll see you then.
See ya.